Given the ridiculous standards at the top of the championship, the fact that we only got one winner from the fabled top four in round 41 this weekend may come as a bit of a shock. It's a shock, I guess, until you take into account that three of the four teams were on the road, with Ipswich and Leeds making away trips to Norwich and Coventry to face two good sides vying for a place in the top six themselves. All of this allowed Leicester City to take advantage of their home comforts against the Birmingham side, who are going to end the day in the bottom three. It played out perfectly for Leicester, who took advantage of defeats for both Ipswich and Leeds to take top spot at the start of a vital three-game week in the Championship. The day started with the East Anglian derby over at Carrow Road, and despite Ipswich's rocket-fueled rise from the middle of League One right to the top of the Championship, this is a matchup that still proves to be kryptonite for Town. Marcelino Núñez scored the only goal to tighten Norwich's grip on sixth place and open the door for Leeds and Leicester to make the overtake in the 3 p.m. kickoffs. So off went Leeds for an away game at Coventry, which looked on paper like Leeds' stiffest test before the final day showdown, potentially against Southampton. It is exceptionally rare to see a Daniel Farke Leeds side 2 goals down. Seems like that's what you're going to need to do to beat them. Ellis Sims and Hadji Wright saw to that. Joel Pirro did get a goal back for Leeds, but it wasn't enough, and under they went 2-1. This was Leeds' first defeat in the EFL in 2024, the end of a 16-game undefeated streak, and now a gigantic opportunity for Leicester City, with both Ipswich and Leeds sticking 0 points on the board. We'll finish up with the Foxes, but just quickly, let's deal with Southampton, who sadly for their fans seem to be becoming less a part of the top 2 conversation. Saints drew 0-0 up at Blackburn. That is a run of 2 points in the past 3 games. We keep saying they need a heck of a winning streak, but with the games ticking by, the chances of that get slimmer and slimmer with each round. So there is very little argument that the big winners this round were Leicester City, who defeated Birmingham, but it did go right to the wire. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall's opener was cancelled out by a weird goal by Jay Stansfield. And in the 87th minute, they had to wait a long time, but Steffi Mavididi headed home a huge goal in the promotion race to win the game. Now, much has been made of the lead that Leicester have surrendered in this title race, but not only are they back at the top at a vital time in the season, but they also hold a precious game in hand over both Leeds and Ipswich. Okay, the game in hand is against Southampton, but the state of play is that if Leicester can match what both Ipswich and Leeds do and win that game in hand, then it could be promotion for Leicester in round 45 against Preston. So with Leicester's destiny now back very much in their own hands, we could be looking at a straight shootout for second place between Ipswich and Leeds. Ipswich currently hold the higher ground, but it's very much worth making mention of the scheduling, because by the time we get to Leeds' game against QPR and the final whistle of that game, Leeds will have played 4 times and Ipswich will have only played twice. Now, everyone has their views on points on the board versus games in hand, but given it's going to be such fine margins, you do wonder if that scheduling could just allow Leeds to pile on the pressure, with Ipswich facing a 3-game week to end the season against Hull, Coventry and Huddersfield. Let me know your takes on the latest twists and turns in the promotion race down there in the comments. And do not cry if we haven't mentioned your team today. We will be covering the whole of the beautiful division that is the Championship with Sam Parkin tomorrow in the latest episode of the Championship Check-In podcast.